Hello, friends. My name is James Hawkins, and as always, I'm joined by my good friends Brian Castiglione and Anthony Alessino, as well as my younger brother, Jack Hawkins. On this show, we're all about parlays, overs, unders, spreads, and money lines. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Parlay-Vous. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Parlay-Vous podcast. It's your boy Jimmy Hawkins alongside my brother Jack. Just another two-man episode today.
Another edition of the pick and roll.
Another little pick and roll, pick and pop offense coming at you live from our parents' basement. Can you talk?
Can I talk?
Yeah, alright, I guess I'm getting a little bit of my Alright, these headphones suck. There we go, let's go. Alright. Hopefully we are this morning celebrating a New York Jet victory from Thursday Night Football. This episode does release Friday morning. We are not recording on Friday morning. It was Wednesday evening. But nonetheless, we're here. We're ready to gamble. We're getting after it. We're going to begin, and I will say we did cover a lot of everything on Wednesday's episode in terms of non-gambling stuff. This could be a quick one, depending on how fast we get these picks in and such. This could be a quick episode today. And look, a little light, easy listening. It's not the worst thing in the world to have a little 20, 30-minute episode if that's what happens. It is what it is.
We do what we can, right?
We're going to go to College Bowl immediately. And I came into, I guess, week 3, right, of college football.
Yes.
Week 3 of college football, I came in with a 1-2 record. My picks this past week, I had Miami University, the U, minus fucking 35.5, I think was the pick on last week. The spread closed at minus 38. They won 62-0. It was a domination. I mean, a little slow to begin with, but very quickly it was a domination. I think the starters played 1 or 2 series in the third quarter, and then it was time for the backups to come finish the job. Then we had Ole Miss minus 22.5, I believe was the spread at the time. Closed around minus 20.5. They covered that one, right? I forget what the final score was. Yeah, dominating fashion, 40-6 victory. They easily covered. And then the final play was Texas minus 35 or 35.5 was the pick at the time when I gave it out last week. That one I think closed at 35 or 36. Everything's looking great early on. Quinn Ewers has a hand injury. Or no, I'm sorry, it wound up being a rib injury, right? Quinn Ewers has to come out of the game. Oh no, it's happening again. A backup quarterback. The faith of my parlay is in the hands of a young backup quarterback in college football with a big spread. And you never love that, ever. Luckily, the backup quarterback at Texas is Arch Manning. Arch Manning enters the game. First play, throws a touchdown. Next possession, first play handoff. Second play, 67-yard scamper by Arch, who, by the way, reached the top speed of 20.4 miles per hour on that run.
Which is faster than Daniel Jones.
The fastest Tyreek Hill has run so far this year is 20.3 miles per hour.
Oh, man.
So he just edged out Tyreek Hill in the speed at his top speed in that run. Arch comes in, does what Manning's do. He takes care of business. I forget the spread. That was the score. That was the closest one until the end, and then they wound up covering as well. So we go 3-0 in the week.
Final was 56-7.
Yeah, so it didn't look close at the end, but late in that fourth quarter, the spread was getting iffy. We go 3-0 in the week. We had the 3-0 to last week's 1-2. We're 4-2, and we're feeling good about ourselves coming into week 4.
So, to start, got to go with the boys in blue, them Blue Devils.
What were your picks last week?
My picks last week were the Blue Devils.
Oh, are you also picking them this week, though?
I am also picking them this week
so
because
right.
3 is a winning streak. It makes sense.
Fine, just give us your picks from last week first.
My picks from last week were Duke minus, I'm going to flip the paper over here, 16.5 at UConn, 1-4. Still a good game from the Blue Devils, nonetheless. I also had TCU plus 2.5 against UCF. They wound up covering, I believe they lost by 1. So I did go 1 for 3. I thought I just lost entirely. I was thinking handicapping. Then my last pick was Florida plus 3.5 against Texas A&M, who just smacked them in the mouth. And now I feel ashamed to wear this hat. But that's okay, because there's always next year.
It's going to be a rough year.
Let's get better, DJ Lagway. Let's get better. But nonetheless, this week, gotta keep rolling. Obviously, probably won't cover the spread, but it's against Middle Tennessee, minus 14.5 for Duke this week. Next, I have on my list, I have Nebraska minus 8 against Illinois. So, home game for Nebraska. Let's go Cornhuskers. This could be a good year for them. Haven't gotten to the record on them yet, but my last pick this week is a statement pick. I would say, quite honestly, a legacy pick. California plus 2.5 against Florida State. In Florida State.
Scary. We're going for another Florida State loss, huh? I like it.
I wear this hat. If I can't win, I can always hate.
Zach's wearing a Florida Gators hat for those who are just listening to the audio. All right, I like the nuts on those picks. I like it.
Jack Hawkinjoe's Player Hater University.
Let's get into it, shall we?
Let's get into it.
First one, I mean, this is kind of me hedging myself a little bit in a way. We got number 12 Utah playing number 14 Oak State at Oak State. Utah is a 2 or a 2.5 point favorite depending on what book you're looking at, where you're getting it. Cam Rising still not playing. Starting quarterback is still Isaac Wilson, true freshman, younger brother of Zach Wilson. Showed out last week in a more favorable matchup.
Utah is 1.5 at the moment.
1.5, so I went the other way. As long as we're still getting juice on a team ranked in the top 15 that plays good defense against a true freshman quarterback, who, by the way, Utah is a great program. Even early on with Cam Rising, they were struggling to move the ball at points, and I really do wonder if they can hit the chunk plays consistently against a good defense like Oak State. As long as Oak State has the juice, I'm taking their money line at plus odds, currently sitting at, I mean, it was plus 110, now it's probably plus 105. You don't have to check.
I was just saying, I would have to.
If you get even money or better on the Oak State money line, go ahead and take that money line. Next game, we have Georgia Tech at Louisville. Georgia Tech running back Jamal Haynes has been held to just 3.1 yards per carry over their last 2 games. If you're not familiar with Georgia Tech, they do run that wing T triple option style offense. Running the football is incredibly imperative to what they're going to be able to do. Now, Haynes King has been averaging the quarterback. He averages about 6.3 yards per scamper, but it's really not a great measure. I mean, Jamal Haynes is the guy, and he was averaging over 6 yards. But they haven't played much stiff competition, and in the last 2 games against not stiff competition, only 3.1 yards per carry over those two games. Playing against a much stouter run defense, much more legitimate team in Louisville. Now let's flip it the other way. Louisville, the Cardinals, it's very much a running back by committee situation in Louisville. All 4 of their running backs are averaging over 5 yards per carry right now. The offensive line at Louisville, the Cardinals, a combined 172 starts under their belt between the 5 of them. Georgia Tech, they run a 4-2-5 defensive scheme, which gave up 5.4 yards per carry and ranked 122nd EPA per rush allowed last season. Come against Louisville, who was ranked number 31, I believe, for EPA for rushing. It's going to be tough sledding for them. It's going to be hard. This is easily the most difficult secondary that Haynes King is going to play so far this year. One of the more difficult secondaries he's had to deal with like in his career for the most part. If they cannot move the ball, Louisville, and Tyler Shuff, quarterback for Louisville, if you're not familiar with his game, Tyler Shuff, former Oregon quarterback, then he transferred out and he was at Texas Tech, and now he's here at Louisville. Very, very good, above average, 5-star, above average quarterback when he can stay healthy. The problem is that he cannot stay healthy that well, but so far so good as a Louisville Cardinal. 587 yards through the air, 6 touchdowns, I believe. So all of these things combined for a nightmare for Georgia Tech, especially coming off of their big win against Florida State at the start of the year. It's only been downhill from there. Louisville minus 10 is the pick there. Now
You really went to the stew for these picks this week.
Here's the big one for me. Battle of ranked teams. Number 11, USC Trojans, going to the Big House to take on the number 18 ranked defending national champion Michigan Wolverines. Let's just start right here. The Wolverines have not covered a spread all season. It's an early season. It's a baby season. They're 0-3 against the spread. Just made the decision after benching him during the game last week. Michigan is now benching and going into this game against USC. We've benched Davis Warren, and we're reinserting Alex Orji into the starting lineup. Alex Orji reinserted into the starting lineup as the new quarterback of the Michigan Wolverines. He was the assumed starter heading into spring ball and camp. Lost the battle to Davis Warren. We saw how the Davis Warren deal is shaken out so far. He gets benched. Alex Orji is coming back in to start quarterback for the Michigan Wolverines this year. Alex Orji, you looked at me like I made that name up, like it wasn't real. Orji has 53 career snaps. Of those 53 snaps, 7 of them have been passing attempts for his career. We saw the way Michigan got dismantled by Texas in the Big House earlier this year. We saw how electrifying USC and Miller Moss's offense was against a very respectable LSU team on a national spotlight on that Monday night game a few weeks ago. USC is -5.5 on the road, and I'm hammering it. Hammering USC -5.5. To me, we knew the Michigan drop-off in the post-Harbaugh era was going to be tough. Losing a top 15 quarterback in J.J. McCarthy, losing a top 2-round running back in Blake Corum. They've lost a lot of talent over the years. They've lost the leader of the ship. Doesn't seem like it's getting better anytime soon. I love this USC Trojan fan. If you listen to Wednesday's episode, you heard me basically suck off Lincoln Riley and Miller Moss. I believe 5.5 isn't enough. Hammer, hammer, hammer USC -5.5. So, Oak State money line, USC -5.5, Louisville -10. Those are the college football picks this week. Let's go to the handicapping situation, shall we?
Shall we?
You're going to need the schedule for that. I'm going to need to make a little sheet. Before we get into that, quite a week. So we didn't. The three of us didn't all pick the same teams. We didn't have a lot of the ones we fell, in line on, but we differed very much throughout the set here.
Okay, so are we grading this live?
What?
The what's it called, the handicapping, or did you grade it already?
No, the ones from last week.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I graded it already.
Oh, okay. I have the score up here.
Jack, 7, 7, and 1.
You know what?
For a total combined record of 12, 15, and 3.
You'll take a 500 week every now and then.
Jim, 7, 7, and 1.
All right.
Combined record 13, 14, and 3.
Okay.
Brian, 7, 7, and 1.
God fucking damn.
And Brian wasn't here for week 1, so
now
his combined record is 7, 7, and 1.
Where we found our wins and losses, were they separate from each other?
I won on Minnesota +5.5. The two of you guys had San Fran. You won on New England +3.5. Me and Brian had Seattle. Me and Brian had Cleveland. You had the Jags. Brian had Arizona. We both had the Rams. Houston was the push. You won on Atlanta. Me and Brian lost on Philly.
So an interesting slate from last week.
Where I got you guys was Minnesota. Minnesota looks like the only one that I got both of you guys on. I also got you on Cleveland. And that, I believe, is it on ones that I got over on you.
But I got over on Atlanta, and then...
You got over on Atlanta. You got over on New England.
So I got two. I got 2 over. So
yeah.
I'm picking some harder battles, but I got to get some more common sense is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. It's what it's going to be. So, you have this week's schedule up. Brian never sent handicapping picks, right?
No, he did not. I do have... Let me scroll on over to it. do have this week's schedule up. We're sticking out of Thursday Night Football, right?
Yeah, Thursday night happened already.
All right, so we're going to start with Denver Broncos at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The spread is 6.5, and I am in on the Buccaneers, 6.5.
Yeah, me too.
All righty, we'll move it on to the next one. The New York Football Giants at the Cleveland Browns. Cleveland Browns are 6.5. Give me the Cleveland Browns.
You're going to take Cleveland minus 6.5?
I am. Only because I hope Deshaun Watson is out of the game for some reason. And
Me too, just because Daniel Jones can't do it against that defense.
So, next game, Los Angeles Superchargers at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Steelers minus 1.5. Give me the Chargers.
You're going to take the Chargers plus 1.5?
Yeah, and I don't like it, but I think I'm going to just because.
Take Pitt.
Okay, you know what? I like that pick, but I think I'll bite the bullet on the Chargers here. Next up, we got Philadelphia Eagles at the New Orleans Saints. Saints minus 2.5. Give me the Saints. And you want to know how I feel about it? I don't like picking the Saints, but I feel like this is one of those times where Jalen Hurts is going to sneak up on you and fuck your parlay up. He may not sneak up on you in football, but he'll fuck up your bets for sure.
What you just said Jalen Hurts was... Oh, you mean by losing?
Yeah. I think the Eagles are going to come out and fucking cover this game and fuck up the spread.
You just picked New Orleans, though.
I did pick New Orleans,
I'll take Philly, then.
Because I can see so many things happen. The Eagles are forever going to be fucking up bets, and I will not touch the Eagles from betting anymore.
It's also the perfect, holy shit, the Saints just became the most bet-on team to win the Super Bowl this week, and Derek Carr became the most bet-on guy to win the MVP. The Eagles just had a stinker against Atlanta, which a lot of people are down on for some reason, which makes little sense to me. Now, all of a sudden, the Eagles come in as dogs, and they just mollywop them. I've seen it 1,000 times across the NFL over the years,
Anyway, next game, Houston Texans at the Minnesota Vikings. I'll let you go first on this one.
What's the spread?
2 in the Texans' favor on the road.
I'm going to take Minnesota plus 2.
I'll take Minnesota plus 2. Next game we got is Green Bay Packers at the Tennessee Titans. Titans are minus 2. And you know what? What do you writing down your over there? What do you got?
Green Bay plus 2.
I don't like it, but I'm also going to tell you I'm going to go with Green Bay plus 2. Next game, Chicago Bears at the Indianapolis Colts. Colts are minus 1.5. Give me the Colts. I feel like this one is too easy.
Indy minus 1.5. I'll second that one.
I feel like it's almost too easy. Next up, we got the Carolina Panthers at the Las Vegas Raiders. Give me the Raiders by 1 million.
What's the
spread? Is minus 5 in the Raiders' favor.
I'm also going to take the Raiders minus 5, but be wary of Andy Dalton being the starter now.
I hate that you had to say that. Miami Dolphins at the Seattle Seahawks. Seahawks are minus 4.5 at home. Give me the Seahawks.
Yeah, I got to take Seattle as well because Skylar Thompson ain't it, though.
No, definitely not. And I'll talk. That's the point I wanted to make last episode, but I think the Dolphins are in the perfect position right now to go get Bryce Young.
I saw a proposed trade where I forget what quarterback got sent to. No quarterbacks got sent to L.A. Stafford goes to Miami. Bryce Young goes. I forgot where the deals were, but it ultimately ended with Stafford getting in Miami, which would be Super Bowl championship.
Yep. As funny as that would be. Next up, we have the San Francisco Niners at the Los Angeles Rams. Niners are minus 7. Banged up Cooper Kupp. Puka Nacua not on the radar. Starting receivers are Tyler Johnson and Demarcus Robinson. And Stafford inside of that unit last year was not performing at a high clip until Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua came back. So, that being said, I'm taking the Niners, and I feel like that's...
It's 7?
7. It's... When you think about it, it's very easy to bet that 7 because how often is Stafford going to get in that red zone?
I agree, Niners minus
That's a field goal game this week. Next up, we got the Detroit Lions at the Arizona Cardinals. The Lions are minus 3. Give me the Cardinals.
Cardinals plus 3, huh?
Yeah. If Kyler's got lightning in a bottle, you best not fuck it up.
I'll take Detroit minus 3.
I like that. Next up, we got Baltimore Ravens at the Dallas Cowboys. It is minus 1 in the Ravens' favor, moving towards a pick'em. I don't know here. I mean, I kind of want to see where you stand on it.
I'm going to take Dallas.
The boys, huh?
Plus 1.
+1, the boys. I'm going to take Baltimore. We're now on the Sunday night slate. It is the Kansas City Chiefs at the Atlanta Falcons. Kansas City Chiefs are -3.5 on the road, and that one's a shoe-in. It's the Kansas City Chiefs -3.5 on the road. Over under, funny little number here, 46.5. I feel like that game could possibly get out of hand if we see Kirk O'Chains appear. But it is primetime football, so I don't know. But it's primetime Kirk and ATL, so I don't know.
This is the Sunday night game?
This is the Sunday night game. We had a absolute backbreaker.
We had primetime Kirk.
We had
absolutely
primetime
ripped
Kirk.
the hearts out of Eagles fans. Give me Atlanta.
You know what? I want to pick Atlanta. I want to root for Atlanta.
Give me Atlanta +3.5.
But because it's the Chiefs and they're the super villains of the league. But Kirk O'Chains, I can't wait to see him if he appears. Next up, we're moving up to the Monday night slate here, starting at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. Jacksonville Jaguars at the Buffalo Bills. The Bills are -5 at home. See, it's odd. It's an odd game for me to pick. I'm going to go with Jacksonville +5.
Okay, I got Buffalo -5.
All right. And the last game of this beautiful Week 3, real barn burner right here. We got the Washington Commanders at the Cincinnati Bengals. Bengals are -7.5, and give me the Commanders to cover.
Yeah, I like the Commanders to cover as well here. +7.5.
Yeah. So that's handicapping. Now we get into our favorite part of the show.
The gambling.
The gambling.
All right. So, quick review of how we do the gambling segment of this show. We do it as a team. We started the season with a bankroll of $1,000. Our unit is $100 per unit, and we max out at $1,000 a week. So our current bankroll heading into week 2 was $1,712. Brian's took his $100 and he parlayed the Steelers -2.5 with the Jets -2.5. He bought 1 whole point on the Jets. It was +224. It was 122.24. We had the BDSOW, which
missed.
Of course it did. I didn't even check the spreads because I knew Worthy didn't score and I knew A-Chain didn't score too. So we lost that. Have no fear. I had a three-leg anytime touchdown parlay. It was 3 quarterbacks: Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Jaden Daniels. None of them scored. So that's -200 against Brian's $224 win. We're up $24. We put $700 on the Chargers -6 to cash out $648. That's a net winning of $672 on the week, or just over 6.5 units. Our total bankroll heading into week 3 is $2,384.
All right, so
we're up.
Let's get our safety out of the way here first.
Hold on.
What do you mean, hold on?
Who's your glizzy guy?
It's the Cardinals. 2 glizzies, 1 bun.
So, here's my problem. There's not a lot of tasty glizzies that meet all of the criteria this week.
And that's a clip.
I guess, yeah.
That's a clip for this podcast right now.
Will you allow it?
Will I allow
Philly 2.5?
Because the BDSOW is in play, yes, I will allow Philly.
I want it to be Philly. I want it to be Philly as the glizzy god in the worst way possible.
It's 2.5. It can't be a glizzy
because it's not 3.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. Would you allow?
Would I allow on the terms of a glizzy?
On the terms of it's a bad week.
Because
all of these spreads are at fucking. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Half of the fucking spreads are under 3 points.
So you would have a 50-50 no matter what.
If you're going to make me do it, it's Atlanta. But I don't feel good about Atlanta being the glizzy god. I like to give out underdog winners on my glizzy god. I believe Atlanta can cover. Fuck you, Atlanta. The glizzy god pick of the week is the Atlanta Falcons.
Fine. I will allow you to play true to the rules. Only because you would do the same for me. You would make me say true.
Falcons it is, dog.
Let me get that together for you real quick.
I wasn't even talking about parlaying it. I was just making that the glizzy. I mean, you want to talk about an easy target? You want to talk about an easy target here?
Tampa.
Over who?
Denver. 6.5.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's the safety.
900.
900 in a BDSOW? Or?
I think that's how we do it.
Okay.
You know what?
Go ahead.
Nah. Let's try to be fun about it.
7. We'll go 7. 8. 8. You go ahead. You talk about your picks that you like while I construct this week's.
I don't even know.
Have a look at the handicapping and see if there's anything you'd like in there, and tell me if you'd like to see something while I'm pulling up what I need.
Tampa Bay minus 6.5. 800. I need to get that payout from you. It should be like 740 something.
What are we doing? It's Tampa
Bay.
700.
Anything at minus 110 odds, put 800 on it. It should be 7 and some change.
795.
795.
No, 695.
695.
Minus 115 for the Buccaneers.
Okay. 800 to win.
Ooh.
695.
Yep, 695. All right, well, Jim, I will ask you, there's a lot of low-scoring games this week. And tell me some games that you feel are going to be decided based on the field position and kick. Tell me the games you think each drive is going to end in a kick.
Philly, New Orleans.
Philly, New Orleans is a kicking game.
Pittsburgh Chargers.
Pittsburgh Chargers is a kicking game. I think Dallas versus Baltimore is a kicking game.
Could be, yeah.
I would say just based on the fact of Brandon Aubrey being astonishing.
Ah, fuck. Alright, I can't do that. I wanted to throw the Jets money line in here, but the Jets game happened already.
Technically.
You alright over there?
I'm okay. Right now, we are missing a kicker for Tennessee. So, just going to stray away from that. Who's the kicker over in New Orleans? Will Lutz?
Yes.
Yeah, he makes the cut. No, Blake Groupie. Will Lutz is on another team at the moment.
Sorry, my mistake. Alright, I think I have something here for a little $100. Little heavy favorite money line parlay.
Go right ahead.
Cleveland money line. Raider money line. Seattle money line. Tampa money line.
I can't get all these inks. I have this other shit up at the moment.
Brother, okay. Well, then do your thing.
I'm doing my thing.
Hurry up. We're leaving a lot of dead air here.
I'm sorry, the BDSOW
Don't be sorry to me.
requires...
Be sorry to the fans.
The fans understand, though, that this is no easy feat is to construct the BDSOW. You got to find your odds where you need them.
For the sake of filibustering while we're on this topic, so far with our new strategy we're employing this year, which I do implore everybody to do, just go big on one game instead of trying to bet the entire slate. And then, a unit or two on some fuck around parlays. And we're currently up just shy of 14 units through 2 weeks. So depending on where your unit is, that could be a lot of money, it could be not a lot of money. I mean, it's all relative to your unit, right? So either way, 14x what you started with. Or not what you started with, but you know what I'm saying. Like, that's a good return through 2 weeks so far. Excuse me, that was disgusting. I think it should just be like very simple. Anyone who's playing Denver, anyone who's playing Carolina, anyone who's playing the Giants, if they're a top 20 team, hammer them and don't think twice about it. That's what I think. Bo Nix is going to throw you the opportunity to cover in every single game, no matter what, bar none. The Giants are just ass. Daniel Jones can't move the ball. They don't have enough talent. He's not the guy. They're in disarray. And we've spent plenty of time this week already talking about what the problems are in Carolina.
Alrighty, Jim.
We got the BDSOW.
The BDSOW,
Hold on.
fan favorite of the pod.
If they're not familiar what that acronym means, can you give it to them?
I will. It is called the Big Dick Swing of the Week, brought to you by the Parlay-Vous podcast, as well as Justin's Chop Shop. You can bust our chops, but you'll never beat our meat. Anyway, the BDSOW, the Big Dick Swing of the Week, goes as follows. Brandon Aubrey, 1.5 field goals made. We're going to take the over. Blake Groupie.
Wait, I'm sorry. What'd you say?
Brandon Aubrey, kicker for the Cowboys.
That
Over
was
1.5 field goals.
Your first line?
It's first one. Second one is also...
Hold on.
Oh, geez.
Oh, my God. Valentina. Okay, second one?
Blake Groupie, New Orleans Saints kicker, over 1.5 field goals made. Chris Boswell, kicker for the Pittsburgh Steelers, over 1.5 field goals made. Jake Moody, kicker for the San Francisco 49ers, over 1.5 field goals made. That is 4 field goal props this week in tight games. Well, maybe not, no, not as tight. Definitely not tight games. 2 tight, 2, 3 tight, 1. We'll see what happens. To the next part of our slate, here we go. We got the Twins. We got the double-headed dragon over here in the New York Jets running back room. We got Breece Hall for an anytime touchdown as well as Braylon Allen.
Okay.
We also have Mike Evans down there in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers going up against the Broncos at home. Mike Evans is going to be catching one down there in the Bay Area. And then our last pick on the BDSOW, Mr. Brock Bowers for an anytime touchdown against a squandering, or not even squandering, I don't even think that's a word, scrambling Carolina defense.
Alrighty.
That is 8 picks.
Okay.
And
$100 on this
$100 on this fucking masterpiece right here. $100 will pay you back $58,212. So that's plus $58,212. And quite honestly,
it's the biggest swing, the biggest dick to be swung so far this year, nearly doubling last week's odds, which never had a chance. So if you feel like a lottery ticket, we got Brandon Aubrey over 1.5 field goals made. We got Groupie over 1.5 field goals made. We have Boswell over 1.5 field goals made. We have Jake Moody over 1.5 field goals made. We have both Jets running backs, Breece Hall and Braylon Allen, to both score anytime touchdowns. We got Big Mike Evans down in Tampa to score an anytime touchdown, and Brock Bowers, the new number 1 tight end in the NFL, to score an anytime touchdown against that dwindling Carolina defense. And like we just said, the odds are plus 58,212. The wager is 100 to win, now 58,212. Now,
I have just also put that slip in by myself because that is the prettiest looking BDSOW ever sold.
What'd you put? One unit, one of
I
your
put
units?
5 on it, $5.
Okay.
It's a lottery ticket, but you know what?
I mean, you
Big
should
dick
never spend
swinging
more.
coming
You should
through.
never spend more than a half of a unit or 1 unit on a lottery ticket. So now, with our remaining $100, I would like to do the heavy favorite money line parlay. So, let me know when you're ready to calculate.
Name them.
Cleveland money line.
Bingo.
Raiders money line.
Getting there. Bingo.
Seattle money line.
Bingo.
Tampa Bay money line.
Got to go all the way back up.
And San Fran if you catch it on the way.
Catching it on the way down. Never mind, we're going back up. This is a shitty elevator. Alrighty. Cleveland Browns money line. Las Vegas Raiders money line. Seattle Seahawks money line. Tampa Bay Buccaneers money line. San Francisco 49ers money line. It's a 5-leg parlay for a whopping total of plus 396. $100 will pay us back $396.
It doesn't matter how little it is if it's a win, dude. It's not gambling if you can't lose. Remember that.
I would rather shoot 0 for 20 than 0 for 9 because 0 for 9 means you stop shooting.
It's not gambling if you can't lose. So, we'll recap it one more time. That heavy favorite money line parlay, Cleveland, Raiders, Seattle, Tampa Bay, and San Fran. That's just under plus 400 odds, plus 396. I'm not repeating the BDSOW again. And then our big bet, our quote-unquote safe bet of the week.
One would say a mortal lock.
Tampa Bay minus 6.5 over the Denver Broncos, $800 to pay back $695. And just a quick review, my Glizzy God pick of the week. By technicality, it is the Atlanta Falcons. I do believe they can cover. I would not be shocked if they won. It's like the classic trademark early Chiefs loss on a good team that people think isn't as good as they are. And Jack's Glizzy God is the Cardinals, which makes a ton of sense the way they've been blowing up and showing out lately. I do like Philly getting juice so far. I mean, get that bet in earlier before it gets worse for you. If you start to see that line move, hammer it if you like the Eagles. But what I will say about the Falcons is, like, a lot of people are down on them, and then especially even more so after week 1 because, like, Kirk didn't look amazing coming off of the Achilles. And this is a team that has weapons all over the field. They have a shutdown cornerback. They play pretty solid defense.
They can stop the run.
They get you in the trenches. You watched the game last night. Both offensive lines kicked ass on both teams. And that Philly, we talk a lot about Jalen Carter and Fletcher Cox and all those boys in Philly. That front seven is all world. The Atlanta Falcons offensive line did whatever the fuck they wanted to them. Fletcher Cox is gone.
It was Jordan Davis and
Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter,
and
the all-world front seven of the Philadelphia Eagles.
The Georgia Eagles.
Whatever Atlanta offensive line wanted to do to them, they were able to do it on Monday night. And if they're able to, they got 2 very good running backs. Algiers going to punch you in the mouth. Bijan Robinson's going to make you throw up and lose your shoes. More wide receivers, a talented quarterback.
Bijan was putting motherfuckers in a spin cycle, dude.
I believe they're much better than everyone's giving them credit for around the league right now. I do believe they can cover 3.5. This feels like a last-second field goal game where the Chiefs are stunned at halftime. You know, I can't believe we're down 9 at halftime to Atlanta. I think they have a shot to win by rule of the 3 points or better, and the fact that there's not that many more lineups I have to take Atlanta. So that's our show. I don't know, quick one. I said it was going to be a quick one, but I'm okay with that.
Listen, here's how I feel.
I mean, we're still pushing 40 minutes.
Yeah, it was a pretty quick one.
It's fine, short and sweet.
I do have 2 things. My first thing, Kyler's got that 2020 Pyrex vision because he done seen it all, bro. Okay?
Did you see Dennis Allen after the game in the locker room?
No. What did
he said to you know what Dennis Allen is, the coach of the Saints?
Yeah.
After the game against the Cowboys, he addressing the team, he said, sometimes you just got to pop out and show them. Shout out Dennis Allen bringing Kendrick into the locker room, dude. Love that.
Hell yeah. You know what I was saying? Did you understand the reference I was making?
Yeah, that's why I said it.
It's fucking... Bro, I'm pretty sure that was that pick. Who threw that pick that I saw that clip with? Jumping into the fucking end zone. Was it? It was, what's his name? The backup for Chicago. Badgett. It was Badgett watching fucking... Who's the DB in Arizona?
Buda Baker.
It was Buda Baker taking a fucking pick 6 to the crib, jumping into the end zone, looking like Free Willy.
All right, what else you got?
What you got any spicy takes this week, dude?
I mean, I can't remember earlier on when we did the future show. Did one of us pick not the Ravens or the Bengals to win the division?
Think so?
Because right away they're both 0-2.
Yeah, Pittsburgh's on top.
One of those teams ain't making the playoffs this year. And it's just going to be the same point that I made last week. I mean, the only thing I could come up with right now, the Bengals are in capital TROUBLE trouble. Here's a spicy take. Here we go, since you got me going. Bengals-Chiefs game, obviously, electrifying game. Comes down to the last second. We get a last-minute field goal. There's a PI call against the Bengals in favor of the Chiefs on 4th down. Everyone's up in arms. Watch the play. He got there early. He hit him early. Way early. Like, not even close. You cannot hit somebody before the ball touches anyone. It wasn't tipped at the line. He got there way too early. You live by the sword, you die by the sword. I immediately am seeing clips of this play, like the next day, all over Twitter, of 2 different Chiefs players getting away with holding on the play that the PI happened on. Okay, great. I can go back to several clips of the game where 3 Bengals offensive linemen got away with holding. Guys, holding happens on every play. I played football from ages fucking 5 to 18. I've been watching football actively since I was 5 or 6 years old. I'm tired of saying it to everybody and anybody, people that know ball, people that don't know ball. Holding happens on every play. You can call holding on every play. That is not like cliche. It's a fact. It is a fact. It's a matter of what you get away with and what you don't get away with. Every single offensive and defensive lineman holds. They're both grabbing each other's jersey every snap. So I don't want to see after the fucking fact in slow motion, well, the Chiefs, the refs are helping the Chiefs again because they picked up this flag or because they didn't throw the flag. Yeah, maybe. I've also saw that like the last 7 interceptions or something like that Mahomes threw got overturned from a flag. Great. I don't care. I'm not here for the conspiracy theories, dude. Refereeing is part of the game. Growing up playing any sport, you get told from a young age, take it out of the ref's hands. They were up significantly in that game, and they allowed the Chiefs to come back into it. Do not blame one play, one missed call, one flag, the refs, the water boys, the fucking grass in Brazil wasn't good enough for the Eagles. I don't want to hear any of the excuses. Play football. It was a game made by humans, to be played by humans, watched by humans, and officiated by humans. Play the game, live with the result. That's my hot take.
I like that. It's a good spicy take right there.
Anything else?
My spicy take this week, the Colts are going to beat the brakes off of the Bears. Beat the brakes off of 1.5 is nowhere near enough. 5.5 is nowhere near enough.
The problem is, and we talked about this, I know I wound up picking them when we did the handicapping. I did pick the Colts. But when it came down to bet, I told everybody, I'm like, I understand that Malik Willis is the quarterback. You have to understand that Anthony Richardson is the quarterback on the other side. And he is... Caleb
Williams. The Bears. Colts play the Bears.
I'm talking about the Packers game last week. Colts-Packers. Going into that game, I said... on the podcast, I picked Indy. But going into the weekend, in the gambling, all of my friends, everyone I knew that gambled on the Colts, they were like, oh, that one should be easy. Malik Willis can't play quarterback. And I said, yeah, but Anthony Richardson can turn the ball over in a hurry. He can put the defense in a precarious position. And he did just that multiple times. And they ran the fuck out of the ball. Josh Jacobs went for 151. So I do believe,
Get that fucking guy in the end zone, please.
I do believe, yes, the Colts probably should beat the shit out of the Bears. But because he wows us with all the crazy throws and the dual threat ability, and he only played so many games last year, we didn't get to see a full season of it. A lot of people, especially those that don't watch college ball, do not understand the fact that Anthony Richardson is an accident waiting to happen. He would have been the perfect quarterback to replace Dak Prescott in Dallas if the timing worked out perfectly, to just have another yes, 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 no, or no, 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 yes kind of a player. You know what I mean? By saying that. Like, he throws the ball and you're like, no, 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 yes! Or, yeah, fuck! Like, that's every time he throws the ball deep, that's what you're looking at until he proves otherwise. I don't know if you're aware of this. Since graduating high school, you know how many starts Anthony Richardson has?
Less than a full season.
18.
So
since high school.
College combined, right?
College and the NFL. He has 18 starts.
And where did he go to college?
Florida.
Oh, shit, yeah, that's right. He was part of that Damian Pierce.
Yeah. So
halfway decent Florida team.
I do agree that the Colts should beat the shit out of the Bears, but you never know. Anthony Richardson, he is the gift that keeps on giving. With that being said, brought to you by... Are we ready for that?
I think I'm ready for, to be brought by.
Brought to you by House of Havoc Podcasting. State Thursday Company, Dino Skate Park, and Justin's Chop Shop of West Hampton Beach, and now the new location in Moriches. Be sure to check it out if you are local to Suffolk County or the east end of Long Island. Get all of your fancy meats and other delicacies there. Justin Chop Shop, bust our chops, but you cannot beat our meat. Peace out.
Don't beat our chops. Stay tuned.